Yeah, hi guys. We are going to discuss another important topic in the international relations. International relations, there are certain organizations which comes under United Nations group, and certain organization which is about environmental, and certain organization which is financial status, guys. Okay, if come to the financial matter, such organizations are most main important World Bank and IMF and World Trade Organization and World Economic Forum. These are economy relevant organizations, guys. Yeah, they can look into the global and each nation growth, how much it is growth and what are the areas they need to focus for their development. Okay, they can give the guidelines and they can give the reports. They can give the guidelines and as well reports. According to their reports, what they delivered for the particular nation are globalized, they need to focus in further development, guys. Okay, in this way we are going to discuss World Bank and their reports and IMF and their reports. Okay, what is World Bank? What they can do? World Bank they can do is like this is the World Bank. Okay, they can give the loans to the countries The loans should be long term loans, and these loans about for the development projects, for the projects, and as well they can release some reports, guys. They can release some reports also. What are the reports the World Bank delivered? Mean based on the global and region and particular developing countries or developed countries or least developed countries, based on that they can segregate and release the reports or their growth or development. So we are going to discuss what are the reports is released by World Bank right now. Okay, yes. Yeah, these are the reports, nothing but indexes. These are the reports, nothing but indexes released by World Bank. Okay, yeah. What are the reports? First one is the most important, Logistic Performance Index. Logistic Performance Index, this is the first report. Logistic Performance Index released by World Bank, first report. It is the purpose of trade, logistics and supply chain. Yes, countries or any developed countries or developing countries or least developed countries, they can export their own production, what they can produce in their territory of the country, within the country they can export such a like other countries. Like India, we are agriculture based country, we can export agri based products to the other countries in the globally, and as well some technical equipments we have to import from the other countries. This is about trade. Okay, this is about trade between the countries, export and import the things like productions, or else service also we can provide. That is also comes under trade, guys. Service also we can provide. So if come to this, what indexes going to describe about trade and balance of country is Logistic Performance Index. Logistic Performance Index, that is about trade and supply chain, and it is they can release every 2-3 years. Frequently they can release. It is active from 2023 is the latest report is 2023, that is released in the 2024 ending. Okay, yes. Next, World Governance Indicators. World Governance Indicators, That is the report also released by World Bank, mainly governance parameters, mainly governance parameters. Governance is nothing but there is a government which is rule the people, which is they can use the things is called governance. E-governance, e-governance nothing but one of the example, e-governance nothing but we can use internet source for the government, like for the rule. Okay, yes, and it is annual report and it is also active now. Okay, yeah, and global economic prospective report, global economic prospective report, this is third important, this is also third important. Okay, that is about GDP growth, regional and growth forecasters. This is about every 2 years, they can release every 2 years. Global economic prospective. Guys, just look into here. Prospects mean GDP, gross domestic product. The country which they can produce the goods and services within their territory during 1 year, called goods and services index. Okay, goods and services. Okay, GDP. Okay, yeah. So GDP mean gross domestic product. Gross domestic product. Okay, gross mean total, domestic mean within the territory of the country, products which they can produce during 1 year, we can call gross domestic product. Okay, yeah, gross domestic product nothing but a country, India, within the border of India, they produce goods and services within the year, called the total production, called gross domestic product. Okay, we are going to discuss in the topic which is national income. Okay, we are going to discuss everything in the national income, guys. Gross domestic product is the regional growth forecast. They can tell about global economic prospective report, which is every 2 years they can release by World Bank. Okay, yes, and ease of doing business, this is also important. Fourth report, ease of doing business. Business is reform regulation annual report, which is discontinued from 2021 due to COVID. Ease of doing business. Ease of doing business mean what the country they can use such a like policies. Such a policies mean they can use such a policies for the nation growth. There is a business like FDI policy is there. Okay, like national skill mission is there. Such a missions policies comes under business, mean they can give such a business between the country also. Due to COVID, there is a development going to be decrease, the growth rate also decrease. Okay, in that way ease of doing business index is stopped by World Bank from the 2021. It is inactive indicate. Okay, yeah. Next, human capital index, fifth one. Human capital index. It is about education, health and productivity. It is every 2 years it can be released. Human capital index is released by World Bank. Okay, this is about human resource and their education, what they can produce. Okay, if come to the engineers most produced by India, they can produce many things, right? In that way, human resource, how we can utilize in the matters of education and production from their resources. Okay, this is the human capital index which is released by World Bank, guys. Okay, yeah. Poverty and shared prosperity. It is global poverty tracking for every 2 years. This is also active in mode. Remittance inflows, global remittance ranking annual, they can release. Remittance is what? Global remittance is what? Remittance is nothing but Indians are there in other countries, right? Our Indian nationals, okay, Indian citizens are living in other countries for their job purpose and they earn the money, right? They earning the money. and they can send the money into the India, their own country, their mother country. That is foreign money they can earn. If somebody went London or UK, he is earning money called pounds, and they can send their money which they earn there and into the like India. That is the money we can call remittance. And other like organizations, if they can provide India that money, any money from that country to India, this is remittance of India. India is the one of the largest countries. I think it is the second most country to take remittances. In terms of remittances, India is second country, I think. Second or third, India is the second or third the country which is in the matters of remittances. Okay? Yeah. This is the rank also released by World Bank. World Development Indicators. World Development Indicators. This is fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth indicator. Okay, large database across the economic update monthly sectors. It is also active. Guys, these are the indicators released by World Bank. Okay, so you have to be focused. They can give the question, which one of the following is released by the index is released by World Bank. They can give you all over any index, and they can which organization can release this indicator like indexes. So you have to be follow the World Bank indexes or reports from this slide. Okay, yeah, you can go through this slide, most important, guys. Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot, 1 minute. Yeah, next guys. Yeah, we have to discuss main indexes or reports from the World Bank. Okay, yes. First one, logistic performance index. Logistic performance index. Okay, yeah. Who can release? World Bank. Who can release? World Bank logistic performance index, LPI, which is benchmark tool for the developed by World Bank. Okay, which is international trade logistic. International trade logistics. Okay, what are the key dimensions to measure the logistic performance index? Okay, yeah, there is an index which is released by World Bank, right? There is a country which is the first country, which is the least country, based on this performance indexes, guys, based on this performance indexes. Okay, yeah, what are the indexes? What are the indexes here? Okay, efficiency, customs and border clearance. Efficiency, customs, from border and clearance. You know SEBI, Security and Border Exchanges. Okay, this is the organization from India. They can take responsibility of efficient border customs duties. Okay, like that they can take this parameter for the giving rank, guys. Any country as their security, border security exchanges are there, and quality trade and transport infrastructure. Quality trade and transport infrastructure. As you know, the trade which is export and import, that can be without any dispute, guys, without any disputes, like tariffs. They can impose more tariffs. Okay, they can avoid taxes. Like these activities, they can focus the parameter, one of the parameter for the logistic index. Okay, yeah, ease of arranging shipment, ease of arranging shipment, and components and quality logistic services. Services also give the quality, guys. Ability to track, trace and consignment. ability to track, trace and consignment, and shipment timelines. Okay, yeah, by the time of delivery also important, guys. These parameters has to taken by World Bank and give the rank, guys, for the nations. These are the key dimensions as focus in this logistic performance index, LPI. Okay, yes. Yeah, global snapshot mean ranks, guys. Singapore is the main country which is top rank of LPI. Singapore is the top rank, score 4.3. Okay, yeah, about 139 countries globally from 2023 is the recent report which is delivered in 2025 February. Okay, logistic performance index 139 countries, 139 countries. About that, Singapore is the first rank. Okay, Singapore, which is business friendly country and production country, which is like intellectual of South Asia country, guys, Singapore. Okay, yeah, it is good infrastructure also. Finland is second rank. Finland is second rank. Okay, yeah, you know Scandinavian countries, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. These are the four is the Scandinavian country. Nokia mobile is from the Finland. Nokia mobile, which is manufactured, the origin of country is Finland, guys. Okay, which is very less crime rate. Okay, later on Denmark also Scandinavian country, Germany, Switzerland. Okay, and Netherlands jointly third rank. Third rank is there are 4 countries is they take third rank, guys. Actually Singapore first and later Finland, guys. Singapore first and out of 139 countries, Singapore first and Finland is second. Okay, yeah. Yeah, International Monetary Fund. No. If come to the India Logistic Performance Index, if come to the India role is what? Out of 139 countries, India 38th place. It is good. India is 38th place. It is good, guys. Very good. Okay. Logistic Performance Index is India placed 38 out of 139. It is best, guys. Okay, as per other indicators. Okay, it is places actually before it is 44 in 2018. Okay, 16 places from 2014, which is like 54 rank, 2018 which is 44 rank, and 2023 which is 38 rank, guys, which is very fast increase their merit, guys. Okay, it shows significant improvement across the logistic performance, all dimensions. It is significant increase. India is 38 of 139. India is 38 rank of 139, guys. Just you have to focus it. India is the most important in the logistic performance index. Okay. Yeah, quick summary of logistic performance index. Just this is the one slide most important. Logistic performance overall rank, Singapore is the first. India is 38th, 139 of countries. International shipment is top. Logistic quality, yeah, of course there are dimensions, right, key dimensions, right, in the logistic performance index. International shipment, India 22nd. All over logistic performance index it is 38, but if come to the shipment it is 22nd, and if come to the like logistic service is 48. Thora in it is worst, guys. And timeline which is significant jump 38, and infrastructure customs which is no, and post on time is like 0.9 days. They don't ask you, they can ask you this one only and this one only. Okay, yeah. Okay, yes. Yeah, next IMF guys. IMF, International Monetary Fund. This is also financial institution. This is also finance. It is also give loans. Gives loans. Okay. It is for the short term loans. Short term loans. It is give short term loans. It is take responsibility of balance of payment. Take responsibility of balance of payment. Balance of payment is what? This is balance of trade and capital. Okay. Balance of trade is what? Export, import, export, import. Capital mean it is investment. Okay. Mostly balance of payment problems take responsibility of IMF. IMF is the International Monetary Fund, is the organization which is financial organization, okay, for any nation growth of immediate base short term loans they can give guys, very short term loans they can give you. They take the responsibility of emergency crisis like inflation and balance of payment or any inflation, to handle the inflation. Okay. This is international organization of IMF take the responsibility, and this is also can release some reports and indexes. What are they? We are going to look into that. IMF. IMF release World Economic Outlook. World Economic Outlook. Guys, there is a organization, international organization, another organization is World Economic Forum. You may confuse World Economic Outlook, which is released by IMF, not World Economic Forum. World Economic Outlook is released by IMF, International Monetary Fund. Okay? Yeah. This is, they can take responsibility of GDP, inflation and unemployment. Every 2 years they can release. Every 2 years they can release. What are the responsibility of this World Economic Outlook is GDP, inflation and unemployment. Inflation nothing but there is a changes in the balance of payment. There is a fluctuations in the balance of payment. There is a devaluation of their own currency of any country. Okay, depreciation or devaluation of any country currency. It is comes under inflation. There is a money is enter into the market, that is the money is huge, worthless in terms of their production, in terms of their values. That is inflation guys. Inflation, such inflation, it is like it is more than beyond inflation, that can be affect the nation development. Okay, yeah. So that is the report. Inflation also, if inflation is there, there is no economic activities like development is take place, there is a huge unemployment, huge unemployment. In that way they can release the report, World Economic Outlook report guys. Okay, yeah. Next report is, this is important report first, and a global financial stability report, that is the risk report of banking system, capital flows. This is also every 2 years, every 2 years. Okay, yeah. And another one, fiscal monitor, fiscal report, deficit debit of government spending for every 2 years it can be released. Mean there is a fiscal policy. Fiscal policy mean they impose taxes and collect taxes, like these they spending money for the public activities, public development like health, education and public growth, such projects, okay, different kind of like in disinvestments. These are comes under fiscal policy, guys. This is the report which is fiscal monitor take responsible of fiscal policy. External sector report also released by this IMF. This is the exchange, miss, every year they can release this, okay. Financial access survey, this is also indexes released by this World Economic Forum. Yeah, and Article 4 consolidation and debt sustainability and climate macroeconomic, okay, emerging. Mostly important, first one, World Economic Outlook is the most important. We are going to discuss this indication. We are going to discuss this index. Okay? Yes. Yeah. What is global outlook, economic outlook, World Economic Forum, World Economic Outlook? Okay. What is global outlook? This is International Monetary Fund which is released the report of World Economic Outlook. Okay. This is about the global GDP growth predictions. This is about global GDP growth prediction. Yeah, every year there is a growth rate by every nation which is released their own, and World Economic Forum also release the growth rate estimation in the coming year. India growth rate is 5.8, like that. Okay, growth rate based on their GDP, gross domestic product. Based on their gross domestic product, there is a estimation of growth rate in every year, which is released by World Economic Forum. Okay, yeah. Regional and country-wise economic projections. Regional and country-wise economic projections mean any region. South Asia is the region, East Asia is the region, Europe is the one of the region, America, South America, North America is region separate, Africa is the African nations. Region wise prosperity growth rate also they can release. Okay, yes. And inflation and unemployment forecast. Yeah, inflation, how much inflation is took place in India this year, what are the unemployment rate in India, like that reports also relevant to the inflation and unemployment report also released through this World Economic Outlook, global outlook. World Economic Outlook report take care of this everything. Risk assessment of global economic stability, risk assessment of global economic stability. These are the things which is published by IMF through the global economic outlook, to the global economic outlook. This is the important, guys, you just focus it. Yeah, regional report, right? Regional growth rate as we discussed, right? Yeah, growth rate is what? Regionally, globally. Okay, the growth projections by region wise, growth projections by region wise. Okay, okay, region wise. World, total overall world, how much growth rate is there? World Economic Outlook which is released by IMF. Okay, just 2024 which is world growth rate is 3.3, 25 is 3, 25 it is decreased, the growth rate projection is decreased by World Economic Outlook. Okay, guys, the global economic outlook, guys, this is the most important. World growth rate or region growth rate. Okay, 2026 again this is increasing. 2026 3.1, 2024 3.3, 25 3.0 and 26 is 3.1. World growth rate, guys, world. Okay, overall all countries. United States, if come to the United States, 2024 2.8, 25 is 1.9 and 26 is 2. Okay, yeah, 25 all over it is decreasing the growth rate which is decreasing. European Union, like Europe, 2024 0.9 and 25 increasing, 26 more increasing 1.2. Okay, this is graph is increasing, guys, this graph is increasing. Okay, yeah, if come to the Middle East and Central Asia, like India countries, 2024 2.4, 2025 3.4, 2026 3.5. This is also increasing graph. And emerging and developing Asia, like India is emerging country or developing country. India is emerging or developing country, which is 2024 5.3, 2025 5.1, 2026 4.6. It is going to down. Okay, yeah, emerging countries or developing countries going to down because of there is no innovation. Developing countries always focus on their growth, not development. Development mean health, education, everything, like standard of living going to be increased. If the standard of living increase, there is a nation growth will be increased, sustainable. If they focus on growth itself, only budget, only in terms of money, it is not comes under development. Okay, yes. So these emerging countries, developing countries, always they are focusing growth, not development. Okay, yeah. Guys, just Latin American countries 2.4, 2.2, 2.4 and sub-Saharan African countries increasing, guys, 4.0 to 4.3. This is increasing. This is the region wise global economic outlook which is released by World Economic Outlook, which is released by IMF, Okay, I hope you guys understand this. Okay, I hope you guys understand this. Yeah, so World Economic Outlook, we are going to look into this. Yeah, World Economic Forum, which is published World Economic Outlook in April, October, this. Okay, yeah, it is access to economic development, identify trends and offered policy recommendations. Key components are include, that is forecast global and regional economic performance, which I shown, right? Yeah, this is, they can, yeah, insight to the inflation trends and evaluation of financial stability risk. Okay, yeah, they can find out the inflation and economic stability also, instability, like if any changes of there is like rates, policy rates or inflation, deflation, disinflation, any recessions or any economic slowdown, these are all comes under economic instability. Okay, guys, they can take the responsibility, they can give the trends. Okay, yeah, what is International Monetary Fund? Just look into here, a quick look into here. That is established in 1944, UN branch, Bretton Woods Conference. I told you previous video is there about IMF and IMF and World Bank. Okay, headquarters Washington DC, USA. Of course, World Bank and IMF are both are Bretton Woods birth, kids, like, okay, 1944 in the Washington DC they origin. Okay, it is global financial assistance, facilitate international trade and financing developing countries and promotion exchange stability of 190 countries. India is the one of the founding member. Of course, take the responsibility of inflation, take the responsibility of trading, international trade and balance of payment, mean worldwide, where is the inflation is took place. Okay, this is the World Economic IMF, okay, International Monetary Fund take the responsible about it. Okay, IMF quota, they can actually special drawing right. There are 4 currencies. 4 currencies are under IMF in the special drawing rights. Okay, Japan yen, China yuan, okay, Russia ruble, okay, European euro. These are the 4 currencies. Sorry, US dollar. US dollar. These are the 4 currencies are there involved in the International Monetary Fund as special drawing rights. Okay, SDRs. Okay, yes. IMF quota, flagship publications, World Economic Outlook. This is the important publication, and Global Financial Stability Report and Fiscal Monetary Report, External Sector Report. These are the publications released by IMF, International Monetary Fund. Okay, yes. So, Monetary Fund released by World Economic Outlook, updates, okay, key updates about that Outlook report. Yeah, GDP growth rate, inflation trends, advanced emerging economics and unemployment rate, public debt and fiscal deficit, and geopolitical and monetary risk, and climate related economic impacts, commodity, yeah, prices. These are the key parameters which is taken by IMF for the global economic outlook. Okay, yeah. Global economic outlook shows growth rate, which is global growth. Global growth is 3.2. Okay, 3.2 is the global growth, most important in the coming exam, guys. Most important in the coming exam. Okay, yeah. 2024 growth is 3.1. 2025 is 3.2. Okay, it is thoda increase. Inflation is expected to decline globally, but remains above pre-pandemic levels in the developing nations. Advanced economies like America is going to take place in the coming year 1.8 growth rate. It is huge. Emerging markets 4.1 growth rate, it is also good. India, this is important in the coming exam. This is important in the coming exam. IMF, India growth rate, how much they can decide? 6.8 initially, that is revised to the 6.5. Right now, India growth rate is 6.5 is projected by IMF. Initially, they projected 2025 growth rate is 6.8. Right now, they projected revised it is into the 6.5 India growth rate by IMF. This is important for coming exam, guys. Okay, how much projected by IMF India growth rate is 6.5. Okay, yeah. China, of course, they don't ask you 4.4, US 2.0. 6.8 mean it is more than 4.4, right? Of course, India is a 6.8 growth rate, okay, in the coming years. I hope you guys understand this. Next, yeah, Transparency International. This is also one of the index which is released by World Bank. Okay, founded like headquarters Berlin. Yeah, it is released by this guy, hidden headquarter in Berlin. Transparency International. Transparency is what? Transparency is nothing but there is a transparency in every governance, like no corruption, okay, no like freedom regulations, okay, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of living, and there is no corruption. Okay, this indication like Transparency International is the organization which is released the corruption perception index. Corruption perception index. This is the Peter guy from Berlin. He operate this Transparency International. Okay, yes. From they released in 2025 February 1. Okay, which is if the 0 is highly corrupt, 100 is very clean. If they give Transparency International corruption perception index, if the index is 0, highly corrupt. If the index is 100, it is very clean country. Okay, yes. So they are independent source from World Economic Forum and World Bank and EU. Okay, which is released from the 2012. Since 2012 they release the index, corruption perception index, which is Transparency International is the organization which is released CPI. Okay, TI, Transparency International is the organization release CPI, corruption perception index. Okay, yes, from the 2012 guys. Okay, yeah, the latest report which is released in the 2025, that is 43, stagnant at 43, score is 43 all over countries. Okay, yeah, progress decline, which is Denmark is the 90, which is first place. Denmark is the first place. Corruption perception index is the Denmark is the first. There is no corruption. 90% corruption is not there. After that, Finland 80, and after that Singapore 84, New Zealand 83, Switzerland 81. These are the top countries. There is no corruption in the corruption perception index. Okay, yeah, low score is South Sudan only 8. Only 8 mean 92% is corruption is there. South Sudan. Okay, yeah. Somalia is 9. Okay, yeah. Venezuela is 10 and Syria is 12. More corrupted countries, guys. Corruption perception index, which is released by Transparency International organization. Okay, this is important. Yeah, if India is 96 among 180 countries. 96 about 180 countries mean 50%. It is the level of 50. Okay, 180 countries, it is the 90th country. Mean 89 countries are far better than India in the corruption. Okay, yes, and score is 38 out of 100. India score is 38. India score is 38 out of 100. Okay, yeah, it is dropped from the 39 2023 and this is 40 in 2022. Okay, yeah, actually thoda improve, that is 2022 is the score 40, 2023 is the score 39, 2024 is 38. Mean score decreasing, mean corruption increasing in India. Okay, yeah, it is below the global average. Global average is 43, but our rank is 38. It is below the global average. Okay, yes. Sri Lanka 12, of course. Bangladesh 149. Sri Lanka is better than India. Okay, Pakistan 138. It is least than India. China is 76, better than India. Okay, corruption perception index. Yeah, it is like they can ask you guys summary table about corruption perception index. Okay, the organization is Transparency International. Index is CPI. The annual ranking, which is 0 to 100 scale, 180 countries overall. Global average is 43. And top countries Denmark, Finland, Singapore, New Zealand and Switzerland. Lowest countries South Sudan, Somalia, Venezuela, Syria. India rank 96, score 38. This is enough, guys, about Transparency International. The index is Corruption Perception Index. Okay, yeah. Questions, MCQs, just look into here. Which of the following indexes released by World Bank? Logistic Performance Index. Logistic performance index released by World Bank. Next, World Bank Human Capital Index is focused on child survival, education and productivity, child survival, education and productivity. Next, ease of doing business indexes was discontinued by World Bank in the year 2021. India's rank in the logistic performance index 38th. India is ranked logistic performance index, and corruption perception index India score is 38. Corruption perception index India score is 38. Here logistic performance index India's rank is 38. Okay, don't confuse. Yeah, and which of the following is not released by World Bank here? Global economic perspective, it can be released. World development indicators release, and poverty shared prosperity report release. World investment report is not released by World Bank. It is released by UNCTAD. Okay, United Nations. Okay, it is Trade and Development Organization. Yeah. Which flagship report is released by IMF that provide global GDP projections? World Economic Outlook. Of course, I shown the projections, right? Yeah. What is the Global Financial Stability Report published by IMF? That is banking, capital and market. Most important, guys, most important. Okay. In the IMF fiscal monitor, which of the following is measured? That is government deficit and debt level. Okay, debt level. Most important question. This is also. Yeah. The IMF external sector report is focused mainly exchange rate alignment and trade balances. Balance of trade, I told you, na? Yeah. Guys, these are the indicators which is relevant to the international relations indexes, most important in the coming exams. Okay, they might ask you IMF and World Bank is the key organization for the financial statements. Okay, yeah, I hope you guys understand this like class. You can like it and share it, guys. Thank you so much.